The night on the barren moon was silent. No wind, no air, no sound of life. Only the echo of metal groaning under its own weight. A broken alien ship lay half buried in the rocky ground, its once bright silver body now torn apart, blackened by fire. Every step around the wreck felt heavy, as if the moon itself carried the memory of violence. Alex, a human engineer, walked carefully through the shadows. His helmet light cut through the dust. Each breath in his suit reminded him how empty this world was. He had come here on a repair mission, but what he found was more than just twisted metal. It was mystery. It was danger. Inside the wreck, the silence was deeper. Loose wires hung like dead vines. Panels sparked weakly. The air smelled of burnt fuel and rust. Alex scanned the walls with his torch. He muttered to himself, "Just another ghost ship." But something felt wrong. Different. Alive. Then it happened. A sound. Soft. Broken. Almost too weak to notice. It was not the hum of machines, not the crackle of wires. It was a voice carried by pain, a voice that whispered through the wreck. "I can't breathe." Alex froze. The sound cut through his chest, a voice where there should have been none. His hands tightened on his tool. His heart began to race. He turned his head, searching the shadows. "Who's there?" he called, his voice sharp. No answer, only the faint, shaking words again. "I can't breathe." Fear mixed with curiosity. Humans had explored ruins before, but never had Alex heard an alien voice cry for help. He moved deeper, stepping. Over broken beams, every corner felt like it could hide eyes watching him. The cry grew louder but weaker at the same time, like someone dying, slowly fading away. He followed the sound, step by step, until he reached a sealed chamber. The door was bent, half melted. Strange markings glowed faintly across its surface. The voice came from inside. Alex leaned closer, his suit sensors reading faint life signs. His mind screamed, "Leave it alone," but his heart whispered, "Open it." He placed his hand on the door. It was cold, too cold. He pulled his tools, sparks flying as he worked. Minutes passed like hours. The voice grew weaker, almost gone. "I can't breathe." Finally, with a hiss of pressure, the chamber cracked open. Dark mist poured out. Alex stepped back, raising his light. Inside, he saw a figure curled on the floor, thin, trembling, struggling for air. It was a woman, but not human. Her skin glowed, pale blue under the dim lights. Her hair floated weightlessly as if moving in water. Strange patterns glimmered faintly across her arms. She pressed her hands to her chest, gasping. Her lips trembled as she whispered again, "I can't breathe." Alex's heart pounded. He had seen many alien species in books, but never this. Never someone so fragile, so close to death. He wanted to speak, to ask, but words failed him. The alien woman's eyes opened slowly. They were not like human eyes. They burned with a faint golden light, a light filled with both fear and pain. She looked at him, not with anger, not with hate, but with a silent plea. Her gaze pierced him deeper than any weapon. She reached out with a trembling hand. "Don't let them find me." Alex's skin went cold. Them? Who was she talking about? Before he could ask, the ship groaned again, loud, heavy, as if waking up. In the distance, a sharp alarm echoed through the corridors. Red lights flickered weakly along the walls. Something had been triggered. Something was coming. Alex turned back to the alien woman. Her breaths were shallow, her body shaking. He knew she wouldn't survive long in this condition. But who was chasing her? Why was she here? And why did her words sound like both warning and curse? He crouched beside her. "Stay quiet," he whispered, though she might not understand. His hands trembled as he reached for her cover. He thought of leaving. He thought of running. But then he heard it again. The weakest whisper yet. "I can't breathe." Alex clenched his jaw. In that moment, fear was no longer enough to stop him. He couldn't walk away. Not from this, not from her, And in the silence of the moon, with alarms echoing and shadows moving closer, a new story began. The story of a human who could not ignore a cry in the dark. The wrecked ship trembled as if something outside had awakened. Red lights blinked across broken panels. Dust drifted down like falling ash. Alex's helmet alarm beeped softly, warning him of unstable pressure inside the chamber. But his eyes stayed fixed on her, the alien woman who whispered, "Don't let them find me." She looked too weak to move. Her breaths came in sharp gasps. Her chest rose and fell like a flame fighting against the wind. Alex's human instincts screamed at him, "Leave now. Save yourself." But another part of him, deeper, stronger, told him to stay. He bent down slowly, his torchlight sliding across her body. She was not built like humans. Her skin had a strange glow, almost like starlight trapped beneath glass. Her fingers were long and slender, shaking as they tried to hold onto the floor. The patterns across her arms pulsed faintly. They seemed alive, as if they carried energy with every beat of her heart. Alex spoke carefully. "Can you hear me?" Her golden eyes blinked, heavy with exhaustion. She did not answer, but her trembling hand stretched toward him again. It was not strength that moved her. It was pure desperation. Alex's chest tightened. He knew what it meant. She needed air. Her words echoed in his mind. "I can't breathe." He quickly scanned the chamber. Half-burnt pipes, shattered screens, empty tanks. But then his gaze stopped. A small oxygen unit, half-broken but still flickering green hope. He rushed to it, checking the seals. The unit hissed weakly when he tapped the valve. Not enough for long, but maybe enough to save her. He pulled the mask free and returned to her side. Her body twitched, as if she was slipping away. Her eyes half closed, her lips moving without sound. Alex lowered the mask to her face. "Breathe. Come on, breathe," he muttered. The hiss of oxygen filled the air. She inhaled sharply, coughing. For a moment he thought it was too late, but then her chest lifted. Her body shuddered as the air entered her lungs. She gasped again, louder this time, and her golden eyes snapped open. The light inside them flared brighter. Her gaze locked on him, and for the first time he saw not only fear, but life. A spark that refused to die. She whispered, her voice broken, but clear. "You helped me." The words were strange, accented, but she spoke them in human tongue. Alex's heart skipped. How do you know my language?" he asked. Her lips trembled. Her voice barely held together. "Long story. No time." Before Alex could question further, the ship groaned again, this time louder, a deep, metallic roar that echoed through the halls. The red lights flashed faster, warning of intruders, footsteps, distant but heavy, marching. Closer, Alex's blood ran cold. The alien woman's hand clutched his sleeve, her eyes wide with terror. "They are coming," she whispered. Her words carried weight, not just fear, but memory, as if she had run from them for too long. Alex swallowed hard. He looked toward the corridor. Shadows moved in the distance, voices sharp and mechanical. Alien, soldiers, searching. He had only seconds. He dragged a broken shield plate from the floor. It was heavy, sharp at the edges, but it could cover her small frame. "Stay still," he whispered. She blinked, confused, but he lowered the shield over, her body hiding her glow. His heart raced as the footsteps drew closer. He crouched near the chamber entrance. His tool in his hand felt like a child's toy compared to the weapons he heard clanking outside. The voices grew louder, strange language, metallic, orders being given. The sound of scanners humming. They were looking for her. Alex's mind screamed again. "Leave now!" But his feet refused to move. Under the shield, the alien woman's faint breath echoed in his ears. She trusted him, a stranger, a human she had never seen before. And he realized, if he abandoned her now, he would never forgive himself. The corridor filled with light. Shadows stretched long, Figures appeared at the end of the hall, tall, armored with glowing visors, their weapons buzzed with deadly energy. They scanned the wreckage piece by piece, their leader's voice cracked like thunder. "Search everything. She must not escape." Alex's throat went dry. He pressed against the wall, praying the shield would hide her glow. The soldier's steps shook the floor. One of them stopped right at the chamber door. His scanner beeped. The soldier tilted his head and slowly stepped inside. Alex's pulse hammered in his ears. The alien woman's breathing grew louder beneath the shield. He pressed his hand against it gently, silently begging her to stay quiet. The soldier's visor turned toward the corner. The beam of light passed across Alex's helmet. 1 second, 2 seconds, a lifetime. Then the soldier turned away. The scanner beeped again, leading him further down the hall. The group marched onward, their voices fading into the distance. Alex let out a long, shaking breath. But his relief was short, because he knew this was only the beginning. He looked back at the alien woman, her golden eyes peeked weakly from beneath the shield. Tears shimmered across her cheeks. She whispered once more, "Don't let them. Take me." And in that moment, Alex understood. He had stepped into a war he did not know, and there was no turning back. The wrecked ship groaned as if it remembered the horrors it had seen. Alex pressed his back against the cold wall, his tool still shaking in his hand. His helmet picked up faint vibrations through the floor. The soldiers were not leaving. They were circling, hunting. The alien woman lay hidden under the broken shield, her breathing uneven, each gasp echoing in Alex's chest like a warning drum. He wanted to whisper comfort to her, but even a breath too loud might draw the hunters in. The sound of heavy boots grew stronger, closer. The corridor lights flickered as shadows stretched long. Alex leaned just enough to see. 5 figures moved through the hall, tall, armored, their movements sharp. They were not human. Their armor gleamed like black stone cracked with red fire. Each carried a weapon that hummed like a hive of angry wasps. Their leader walked in the front. He wore a larger helmet with 3 glowing red lines across the visor. His voice thundered through the wreck. "She is here," he growled. "Do not fail. Find her." Alex's throat went dry. Whoever this alien woman was, she was not just running from danger, she was being hunted by something powerful, something merciless. The soldiers spread out. Their scanners beeped, flashing pale green light across the walls. One turned his device toward the chamber Alex hid in. Alex's pulse hammered. He crouched lower, pressing his hand firmly on the shield that covered the alien woman. Her glowing patterns pulsed faintly under his palm. He prayed the metal would block the scans. The soldier entered the chamber. The sound of his boots against the floor felt like hammers in Alex's ears. The red glow of the visor swept across the room. Alex's breath caught in his throat. He stayed still, silent, invisible. The soldier paused near the corner. His scanner beeped once, twice, then went quiet. The armored figure tilted his head as if sensing something. Alex tightened his grip on the tool in his hand. It was no weapon, but he would fight if discovered. His human instinct screamed for survival, but his heart whispered again, "Protect her." Finally, the soldier turned. He muttered something in a harsh alien tongue and stepped out. Alex released a shaky breath. The danger had passed, for now, but then, from deeper in the wreck, came a sound, a loud crash of metal, followed by a high-pitched whine of a scanner locking on a signal. The leader's voice roared, "She is near, spread out." Alex's blood froze. They would search every corner. It was only a matter of time before they returned. He looked back at the alien woman. Her golden eyes were open, watching him from under the shield. She mouthed words he could barely read. "Run! Leave me!" But Alex shook his head, his voice a whisper only she could hear. "No, not leaving you." Her eyes widened. A tear slipped down her cheek. She was not used to hearing those words, not used to being chosen over safety. The corridor shook as another team of soldiers stormed in, their footsteps like thunder, their weapons buzzing with deadly energy. Alex's mind raced. He had to move her. But how? He spotted a gap in the wreckage. a narrow crawl space behind the chamber wall. If he could hide her there, maybe the scans wouldn't reach. It was risky, but staying here was death. Alex lifted the shield just enough to whisper, "Trust me." The alien woman blinked slowly, weak but willing. With careful hands, he helped her sit up. She was lighter than he expected, fragile, almost weightless. But every movement made her wince in pain. He dragged her gently toward the crawl space. The chamber echoed with distant voices. The soldiers were returning. The seconds ticked like blades against his skin. As he pushed her into the narrow space, her glowing patterns flared for a moment. Alex quickly pulled a torn blanket from the wreck and covered her. The glow dimmed. She was hidden. Barely. Then, the chamber door blasted open. 2 soldiers stormed in, their weapons raised. Alex spun, trying to look like nothing more than a scavenger. He raised his hands slowly. "I'm human, just salvaging, no threat," he shouted, hoping they understood. The leader stepped in behind them. His visor's red lines glowed brighter. He scanned Alex with cold silence. Finally, he spoke in rough human tongue. "You saw her." It was not a question. It was a fact. Alex's mouth went dry. He forced his voice steady. "I saw nothing. Just wreckage." The leader tilted his head. "Lies," he hissed. His weapon hummed louder. "Tell me where she is, or die." Alex's heart thundered. He could feel the alien woman's faint breath behind the wall. Every instinct screamed at him to give up, but he stood tall. "I told you. I saw nothing." The leader raised his weapon. The red glow filled the chamber. Alex braced himself, knowing one blast could end him, but before the shot came, the ship groaned again. A section of the ceiling collapsed nearby. Dust and sparks exploded across the room. The soldiers turned for cover. Alex seized the chance. He grabbed a loose metal pipe and swung hard at the nearest soldier's arm. The weapon clattered to the ground. Energy crackled as it slid across the floor. The leader roared, "Stop him!" But Alex was already moving. He dove for the weapon, his hand closing around it. The hum of alien energy vibrated through his bones. For the first time, he held something that could fight back. And in that moment, the hunted became the hunter. The human engineer stood in the wreck, weapon in hand, heart pounding. And a choice before him: run or fight. The alien weapon hummed in Alex's grip. It was heavier than his tools, but it pulsed with raw energy, alive. The soldiers froze for a moment, surprised that a human scavenger dared to touch their weapon. Then their leader growled, "Kill him." The chamber filled with sound. The buzz of energy rifles charging, the crackle of sparks falling from the wreck's ceiling, and Alex's own heartbeat thundering in his ears. He raised the weapon awkwardly. His hands shook. He didn't even know how to fire it. The alien soldiers stepped closer, confident. One aimed at his chest, another at his head. The leader raised his own glowing rifle. "This is your last chance, human. Where is she?" Alex's throat tightened. Behind the wall, he could feel her presence. The alien woman's faint breath, her fragile heartbeat. If he spoke, she was gone. If he stayed silent, he might die. But Alex was human. And humans had a way of standing their ground even when logic screamed to run. He gritted his teeth and pulled the trigger. A blast of red energy erupted. Wild, uncontrolled, it tore through the ceiling, showering the room with sparks. The soldiers ducked for cover. Alex fired again, this time lower. The floor cracked with a burning scar. The soldiers stumbled back, shouting in their strange tongue. For a brief moment, fear shifted. It was no longer Alex who feared them. It was they who feared the madness of a desperate human. But the weapon sputtered. Its lights dimmed. He realized. It was damaged. He had only seconds before it failed. The leader stepped forward, visor glowing red. "You are brave, but foolish," he hissed. He raised his rifle. And then it happened. A faint golden light seeped from the wall behind Alex, the alien woman's glow. Her breathing had grown stronger. The blanket covering her shifted as her body trembled. Her eyes opened wider, shining brighter than before. Alex turned just in time to see it. Her wounds, once pale and lifeless, now pulsed with golden energy, Lines of light crawled across her skin like living rivers. She gasped, her voice breaking the silence. "Help me." The leader froze, his visor tilted as if shocked. "The air," he muttered. "She lives," the soldiers roared in unison. "Capture her." Alex's stomach twisted. The alien woman was no ordinary prisoner. She was something greater. Something they feared and desired at the same time. He rushed back to her, pulling away the blanket and the shield. Her glow filled the chamber, her skin shimmered like a living star. She reached for him, her golden eyes burning with desperation. "Don't let them take me. Please." Alex knelt beside her. He felt the heat of her glow on his skin. It wasn't fire, it was life. Energy flowing like a heartbeat that wasn't his. And yet somehow, he felt connected to it. Her breath matched his own rhythm. Her pulse echoed in his chest as if their lives had linked the moment he gave her air. The leader raised his hand. "Alive! Take her alive!" he shouted. The soldiers surged forward, weapons raised. Alex wrapped his arms around her fragile body. He could feel her trembling, but when he touched her, her glow flared brighter. The soldiers stopped for a moment, shielding, their eyes the chamber walls shook with the force of her energy. Loose metal rattled, sparks danced like fireflies. The leader snarled, "She awakens! Stop her now!" Alex didn't understand what was happening, but he knew one thing. Her glow was not a weapon for destruction. It was a cry for survival, and he was the only shield she had. He turned the failing alien weapon in his hand. He didn't aim for the soldiers this time. He aimed for the ceiling above them. With a final surge, he fired. The blast ripped through the supports, metal beams collapsed between them and the soldiers. A wall of debris slammed down, blocking the path. Dust filled the air, sparks rained. From broken wires, the soldiers shouted on the other side. But for now, they were trapped. Alex staggered, coughing. The weapon finally burned out, crumbling in his grip. But he didn't care. He had bought them time. He looked down at the alien woman. Her glow dimmed slightly as her golden eyes blinked at him. "You, protect me," she whispered. Her voice was soft, almost childlike. Alex nodded. "Yeah, I'm not leaving you." Her lips curved into the faintest smile, a smile that carried both gratitude and sorrow. Then her hand pressed against his chest. Her touch was warm, too warm. Her glow seeped into him. He gasped, feeling his body fill with strange energy. It was not pain, it was strength, as if her life was lending itself to his. She whispered again, her voice fading. "They want my blood, my memory, my power." Her eyes closed slowly, her glow flickering like a candle about to die. Alex's heart pounded. The truth hit him like a storm. She was not just some refugee. She was the heir of something greater. A royal line, a legacy, maybe even a weapon, and the hunters would burn entire worlds to capture her. He held her tighter. The sound of soldiers digging through rubble grew louder. He had little time, but his mind was clear. He could not abandon her. Not now. Not ever, as the wreck shook again with distant explosions. Alex whispered into the silence. "Then they'll have to go through me first." And with her faint glow, in his arms the human who once came only to salvage scrap became something else, a protector, a guardian, and maybe the beginning of a legend. The wreck groaned like a dying beast. Metal screamed as soldiers forced their way through the fallen. Debris, dust, and sparks filled the chamber. Alex tightened his arms around the alien woman. Her glow flickered weakly, fading in and out. But even faint, it was enough to draw hunters like moths to flame. He had seconds, maybe less. His eyes darted around the ruined ship, searching for a path. There, through the cracked wall, a tunnel led to the maintenance bay. If he could reach it, maybe he could find oxygen tanks or an escape hatch. He whispered to her softly, "Hold on, I've got you." Her golden eyes opened just enough to meet his. She didn't speak, but her hand clutched the front of his suit. She trusted him now, and that trust burned in his chest like fire. The rubble behind him shifted. Voices shouted. In harsh alien tongue, weapons crackled with energy. They were breaking through. Alex pulled her closer and ran. Every step echoed across the hollow wreck. His boots slipped on broken wires and scorched metal. But he didn't stop. The tunnel was narrow, barely wide enough for his suit and her fragile body. The walls glowed, faintly with strange alien symbols. They pulsed as if alive. The woman stirred in his arms, her lips trembled. Not safe. They follow? I know, Alex whispered. But we're not giving up. The tunnel opened into the maintenance bay, a cavernous room filled with shattered equipment and broken machinery. The air was thick with the smell of burnt fuel, but there, against the far wall, rows of old oxygen tanks, some crushed, some leaking, but a few still glowing green. Alex's heart leapt. He laid her gently on the floor. Her body shook with shallow breaths, her glow dimming. He rushed to the tanks, pulling at the hoses. Most were useless, but one hissed, with life. He dragged it back to her, fixed the mask over her face. The hiss of air filled the silence. She gasped, her chest rising sharply. Her eyes fluttered open. For the first time, her breath came steady. Color returned to her glowing skin. She looked at him, whispering with a weak but clear voice, "You save me." Again, Alex smiled faintly. Yeah, well, humans are stubborn, but their moment was short. A crash shook the bay. The door at the far end glowed red. The soldiers were cutting through. Alex grabbed a long steel rod from the floor. Not much against energy rifles, but it was all he had. The alien woman tried to rise. Her hand pressed against the floor, but her legs trembled. She collapsed back with a pained cry. "No," she whispered. "They must not. Take me." Alex crouched beside her. "I won't let them," he said. But inside, doubt clawed at him. How could one man stand against an army? The door blasted open. A wave of soldiers stormed inside, their weapons aimed, their leader's voice thundered. "There! The air! Take her!" Alex stood in front of her, steel rod gripped in both hands, his body a shield, his heart pounding like a drum. He wanted to run. Every instinct screamed to flee, but his feet refused to move. He had promised her, and he would not break it. The soldiers raised their rifles. And then something happened. The alien woman screamed, not in fear, but in defiance. Her glow flared. Golden light burst from her body. It spread across the floor like liquid fire. The soldiers stumbled back, shielding their visors. Alex turned in shock. Her wounds blazed with energy. The patterns on her skin burned brighter. The oxygen mask hissed, louder, feeding her strength. She raised a trembling hand toward the soldiers, and the golden light surged forward, not as a weapon of death, but as a barrier, a shield of pure energy. The soldiers fired. Red blasts struck the shield and scattered. Like sparks, the air vibrated with power. The leader roared in fury. "She awakens! Take her now." Alex looked at her in awe. Her fragile body shook violently. Every second of the shield drained her, but she kept it alive. She refused to fall. Alex knew what he had to do. He grabbed her arm. "Save your strength. I'll get us out." She looked at him with pained eyes. "You can't." "Watch me," he snapped. He spotted a hatch above the bay, half buried under rubble. If he could reach it, maybe they could escape to the surface. He shoved debris. Aside, the soldiers advanced, their blasts hammering against the golden shield. It cracked, flickered. The alien woman gasped, nearly collapsing. Alex pulled the last pieces of rubble free. The hatch groaned open. Light from the barren moon spilled. And he turned to her. "Come on, we're leaving." She shook her head weakly. "I slow you down." Her eyes shimmered with tears. "Leave me. Live." Alex's chest burned with anger. He grabbed her firmly, lifting her into his arms. "Not happening," he said. "You're stuck with me." With all his strength, he climbed toward the hatch. Her golden glow dimmed, but her breathing stayed steady. The soldiers shouted below, their leader's voice like thunder. "You cannot run, human. She belongs to us." Alex's jaw clenched. He looked down at them, then at the woman in his arms. Her faint smile gave him strength. He pulled himself through the hatch into the cold night of the moon. The sky stretched black and endless above them. The stars burned bright, and for the first time Alex felt free air in his lungs. But freedom was fragile. Behind him, the wreck shook with rage. The soldiers were coming, and the hunt was far from over. He whispered to her softly, "Hold on. We're not done yet." And with the alien air in his arms, Alex ran into the darkness, a human carrying the last hope of a dying bloodline, and maybe the beginning of a war. The barren moon stretched in every direction, cold, silent, endless. Sharp rocks jutted out like broken teeth. The sky above was a black ocean dotted with stars. Alex stumbled across the rough ground. The alien woman held tightly in his arms. Her golden glow flickered like a dying flame. But she was alive, and that was enough. Behind them, the wreck still burned. Red lights pulsed inside the broken ship. The voices of the hunters echoed faintly. They were not far. They would never stop. Alex knew this, and yet he kept moving. His suit warned him of low oxygen. The air tanks on his back were draining fast. Every breath felt heavier than the last. The alien woman stirred. Her weak voice broke the silence. "You should leave me." Alex shook his head. "No chance." She blinked at him, confused. "Why risk your life? For me?" Alex tightened his grip. "Because you asked for help, and humans don't ignore that." Her golden eyes shimmered, as if his words struck something deep inside her. For a long moment she stared at him, then whispered, "Strange, human heart." They reached a canyon where jagged cliffs rose high. Alex found a narrow cave at the base of the rocks, hidden from the open plain. He carried her inside, laying her gently on the cold stone. Her body trembled with exhaustion. The glow along her arms dimmed to faint sparks, but her breathing was steady. He removed his helmet, gasping at the stale air inside the cave, thin but enough to keep him alive for now. He slumped against the wall, his chest rising and falling like a drum. For the first time since he found her, he had a moment to think. Who was she? Why were they after her? And why did his heart feel like it beat in rhythm with hers? The woman opened her eyes slowly. "You saved me." "3 times, she whispered. Alex gave a tired smile. "Guess I'm keeping count." She tilted her head, curious. "Why do you not fear me?" Alex frowned. "Should I?" Her golden eyes glowed faintly. "My kind, not like yours. We carry power. Dangerous power." Alex looked at her glowing patterns. They pulsed softly like veins of light. "Power or not, you're still someone who needed help," he said firmly. "And I don't leave people behind." Her lips curved into the smallest smile. It was fragile but real. She touched her chest weakly. "Then, I will trust you." Silence filled the cave. But it was not empty silence, it was heavy with unspoken words. The bond between them grew like a flame in the cold night. She closed her eyes, her breathing slowing, and Alex stayed awake, watching the entrance. Every sound outside made his muscles tighten. Every shadow felt like a hunter creeping closer. Hours passed like days. Alex's eyelids grew heavy. But then, her glow pulsed brighter. He leaned closer. Her chest rose and fell in sync with his own. Each time he inhaled, she inhaled. Each time his heart beat, hers beat, as if their lives had become tied together. He whispered softly, "What are you?" Her eyes opened, glowing faint gold in the dark. "I am last," she said weakly. "The last of my blood. My family, gone. My people, gone." Her voice cracked. "They want me, because in my blood is memory, power, A weapon that can bend worlds. Alex's stomach twisted. Now it made sense. She wasn't just someone running for her life. She was a treasure, a weapon, a key to something greater, and the hunters would burn every star to claim her. She looked at him, her voice breaking. If they take me, they will rule. They will destroy. You must let me die. Alex's jaw tightened. No, he said firmly. Her eyes widened in shock. No? He leaned closer, his voice steady. I don't care what's in your blood. You're not just some weapon, you're alive. And that means you fight to live. Her lips trembled. A single tear slid down her cheek, glowing faintly. No one ever said that to me before, she whispered. Alex brushed the tear away with his glove. Then hear it now. As long as I'm breathing, you're not dying. The bond between them deepened. It was no longer just survival. It was trust. It was something neither of them could explain. Her glow steadied, stronger than before, and Alex felt it in his own chest. A warmth, a strength that was not his alone. He realized she wasn't just leaning on him. She was sharing herself with him, her life keeping his alive, and his will keeping hers alive. The cave trembled suddenly. A low rumble rolled through the ground. Alex jumped to his feet. He heard the distant sound of engines. The hunters were near. He looked down at her, her golden eyes blazed brighter. They found us, she whispered. Alex tightened his fists. Then we fight together. The entrance of the cave lit up with red glow. Shadows of armored soldiers stretched across the walls. Their leader's voice echoed through the night. You cannot hide, human. Give her to us and your death will be quick. Alex stood in front of her, his body a shield. The glow of her energy rose behind him, not as weak as before, but strong, alive. Together, human and alien faced the darkness, bound not by blood but by survival, by choice. And as the hunter stepped into the cave, Alex whispered under his breath, Let's show them what happens when you corner us. The cave trembled under the weight of footsteps. Red light spilled across the rocky walls as armored hunters closed in. Their weapons buzzed like angry hives. Every shadow grew sharper, every second shorter, and still Alex stood tall, his body in front of the alien woman, her golden glow flickering like a fading candle behind him. The leader's voice cut through the darkness, cold, sharp, merciless. Human, step aside. This is not your fight. She belongs to us. His visor burned with crimson lines, promising death with every word. Alex tightened his fists around a broken steel rod. It wasn't much, but it was his, and his voice did not shake when he answered. She belongs to no one. The alien woman gasped weakly, her golden eyes wide with fear and sorrow. You cannot stop them, she whispered. But Alex only glanced back, and in his tired smile she saw something strange, something she had never seen before. A man willing to fight for her not because of her power but because she had asked for help. The hunters raised their rifles. Red fire filled the cave. Bolts of energy roared toward them. But the ground shook with light. Her glow burst forward. A shield of golden energy wrapped around them both. The blasts scattered into sparks. The cave thundered with noise. Yet the two remained untouched. Her body shook with the effort. Her voice trembled. I can't hold it long. Alex knelt beside her, his chest rising and falling with fury. Then share it with me, he said. Her eyes widened. No. It will burn you. Alex's jaw clenched. Better to burn together than die apart. With a trembling hand, she touched his chest. Her golden light surged into him. Alex gasped as fire raced through his veins. Every heartbeat felt like thunder, every breath like lightning, but he did not fall. He stood taller and the glow spread across his body, not hers alone anymore, but theirs together. The soldiers hesitated. Their scanners beeped wildly. The leader's voice cracked with anger. Impossible. A human cannot hold the air's fire. Alex raised the steel rod. It blazed with golden flame. The soldiers fired again, but Alex swung. The glowing weapon cut through their blasts, scattering them like dust. The cave shook as he charged forward. One strike shattered a rifle, another sent a soldier sprawling. The hunters who had chased her across worlds now stumbled back. Not from her, but from a human. A single man burning with her light behind him, the alien woman rose to her knees. Her glow steady now, her voice carried strength. "You will not take me," she declared. And for the first time her words did not sound like fear. They sounded like truth. The leader roared and charged, his weapon blazing red. He struck at Alex. The impact shook the cave. Stone cracked, sparks flew, Alex staggered, but the woman cried out, "Stand, Alex!" Her voice poured into him like fire. He lifted his rod again, their powers collided. Red against gold. The cave lit like a newborn star. The leader pushed with monstrous strength, but Alex pushed back. Not with muscles, not with weapons, but with the stubborn, burning heart of a human who refused to bow. With one final roar, he forced the golden flame forward. The leader's weapon shattered. The blast hurled him into the wall. Stone collapsed around him and silence followed. The remaining hunters froze, their leader broken, their weapons useless against the golden fire. One by one, they backed away. Fear filled their voices. They dragged the leader's body and vanished into the shadows, leaving the cave empty, leaving Alex and the woman alive. Alex dropped to his knees. The glow flickered. His body screamed with pain. But he was breathing. Alive. The woman crawled to his side, her hands glowing faintly as she touched his face. "You should be dead," she whispered. Alex managed a tired smile. "Humans are stubborn, haven't you learned that yet?" For a moment her golden eyes softened, and a real smile touched her lips. It was small, but it carried the warmth of a rising sun. "You chose me, even when it meant your death." Alex nodded. "Because you're not just some weapon. You're someone worth saving." Tears slid down her cheeks, glowing like liquid light. "No one ever said that to me before," she whispered. She leaned closer, resting her forehead against his. Her glow surrounded them both, warm and alive, and for the first time, she felt safe. Outside, the stars burned bright. The hunters had been pushed back. But Alex knew this was not the end. They would return. Others would come. The galaxy would not forget her. But now neither would he. Together they stepped out of the cave. The barren moon stretched before them, cold and endless. But no longer empty. A human and an alien, two lives bound by survival, bound by trust, bound by choice. And though the galaxy would call her an heir, a weapon, a prize, to Alex, she would always be the woman who whispered in the dark, "I can't breathe." And the one who gave him a reason to fight. The legend of humanity's choice had begun, and the stars would never forget it.